Thank you for being here, Mr. De La Fuente. Thank you so much, and please proceed.
Thank you. First, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, and I thank everybody that's here today. I think it's really a testament to the support that we've garnered for this project. Does anybody recognize this picture right here?
Yes.
This was taken roughly a year ago at the site there on 15th Avenue and Vineyard. And I believe that this photo right here is going to be an iconic photo. And the reason why I believe this is going to become an iconic photo is because I think in 10 years, the Space of Opportunity initiative is going to be so successful that it's replicated across the city, across the state, and across the country. And the reason why I think it's going to be that successful is because the sheer amount of progress, the unprecedented amount of progress that's been made over the last 9.5 months, 10 months roughly since Tiger Mountain Foundation and Orchard Community Learning Center signed the initial MOU with the district to begin work on the project. In April of this year, the Spaces of Opportunity Initiative was selected out of one of 200 applicants globally for the National Arts Strategies and Creative Community Fellowship Program, which I think was a fantastic piece of progress for us. And so following all this progress, the money has followed it as well. So within less than 10 months, 9.5 months, we've secured $250,000 for this project with a good, strong possibility of securing $500,000 before the year is done. So recently, earlier this summer, I was at a convening for that fellowship in Connecticut, and I was listening to a gentleman speak by the name of Carlton Turner. He is the ED of an organization called Alternate Roots. And he was speaking to this concept of transformational versus transactional partnerships in the field of community development. When I was listening to him speak, it really struck me that what has made Cultivate South Phoenix, CUSP, so special and so unique are the transformational relationships and the transformational partnerships that have been taking place over the past couple of years. And when I'm talking about transformational partnerships and relationships, I'm talking about the drive and the focus and the concentration, the conversation, the dedication to the work that's been focused on transforming our local food system, transforming how we do urban land development, transforming how we do shared use agreements with the school district, and transforming how we do community-centered design within that entire process. So how do we keep the community front and center in everything that we're doing with this particular project? And that same concept of transformation has held true for all the partners that have joined the Spaces of Opportunity initiative as well. So in your hands today, we have a preliminary business plan written by Mr. Anthony Flacavento of Scale Inc. So he is an organic farmer out on the East Coast. He helped start one of the country's first food hubs, and he does consultant work for the Wallace Center, which is one of the leading think tanks in the country on food hub development. You also have some preliminary design sketches by the architect that we've secured for this project, Mr. Killian Viano, whose expertise is on community involvement in the design process. So he's worked globally from projects in Palestine to Latin America to projects in New Mexico around this concept of how does a community get involved in design, how does land development affect the community, and how do we create a harmonious relationship between the two. So we've gotten the national spotlight. You're talking about bringing attention to the Roosevelt School District. We've gotten the national spotlight for this project, and it's only going to grow. So today I have, speaking to this concept of transformation, I think I have the pleasure and honor of introducing my boss, the Executive Director of the Desert Botanical Garden, Ken Schutz, who I believe embodies this concept of transformation. So as we know, the Botanical Garden is a world-renowned garden, staple in the community for more than 75 years here in Phoenix. And what's so cool about this partnership to me is that they don't need to be involved in this project. They don't need to be involved in Spaces of Opportunity, but they chose to. And I believe that they chose to because of visionaries like Ken and visionaries on the senior staff there that see the potential for transformation with this initiative. So without any more,
Mr. Schutz, welcome.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Thank you, Nick, for the nice introduction. I'm delighted to be here tonight to share with you the gardens, the Desert Botanical Garden's support for and commitment to Spaces of Opportunity. Like you, we do strategic planning, we do forward thinking, we take it in 5-year chunks. Currently, we're in the 2012 to 2017 plan, and one of the major goals in that plan for our garden is to make our community stronger, community defined in the broadest sense of the word, through a community gardening initiative. And as part of that commitment, we created, first we acted locally. We created a community garden on our own site in Papago Park. We're pretty good at growing cactus and agaves, but a couple years ago when it came to lettuce and carrots and beets, we didn't do too well. So we thought we better, get our house in order and learn how to do it on our own property. So first we created our own community gardening, and soon we will create and offer a community gardening resource center at the garden so that individual gardeners, neighborhood gardeners, community activists that want to come to one site to get what they need to create a community garden can find that at the Desert Botanical Garden. Those two activities, doing things on our own property, are more typical of what we've done in the past. What's different this time around and in this 5-year strategic plan, what's most important to me is that we've really sought to go beyond the garden gates, to leave our space in Papago Park and have a broader impact in the community, to identify and work with partners such as CUSP, St. Luke's Health Initiative, and also the Roosevelt School District, to bring about a major community gardening project somewhere in our community that changes people's lives for the better. So not just gardening, but gardening for the greater good, and doing it beyond the garden's own footprint in Papago Park. And the project that we've chosen and is so important to us, and I'm here to affirm our commitment to, is Spaces of Opportunity. We at the Garden have made a financial commitment to raise $500,000 in support of our community gardening initiatives. Much of that has been raised already. Some of those funds went into those 2 on-site projects that I told you about, but the bulk of them will be invested in Spaces of Opportunity. To date, it has allowed us to recruit and hire Nick de la Fuente to be our community gardening leader. And Nick, I congratulate you on all of the progress. I wanted to look at which way to turn. To congratulate Nick on all the progress that he's made so far, and to share with all of you and Nick that we are 100% behind this project and know you will succeed and will enjoy that success with you. I also wanted to conclude this part of my brief presentation by saying that we're in this for the long run, we being the garden, and we hope that you too, the Roosevelt District School Board, will make a long-term commitment to take this support this important project as well. And I hope when you pass the consent agenda, you made that. I didn't know all right. I didn't know what tense to use there, but it seemed to me that you did. So let me thank you for that.
It's on.
In the few seconds that I'll take beyond that, I'd just like to tell you this is important to me very, very on a personal level. Biology and education have always been the 2 things that have defined my career. I'm now past my 40th year of my career. But I was a biology major as a student. I student taught, and when I was in college, first grade, my first job out of college was as a classroom teacher in Baltimore City, where I grew up. I was a 7th and 8th grade biology and life science teacher. After 2 years in the classroom, the traditional classroom, made the switch. I remained a tenured teacher and moved to the zoo. I didn't move to the zoo, but I started working at the zoo as the teacher teacher in residence at the zoo. And that was the very first opportunity I had to work with a cultural organization in partnership with a public school organization to leverage the strength of both. And that success and enjoyment that I had there, this is back in the 70s, has defined the career choices that I've made since then. After the classroom teacher experience at the zoo, I became the director of education, strengthened our relationships with the Baltimore City public school system. My next job was as the director of the Science Museum in southwestern Virginia, a city of approximately 250,000. It's a museum that was actually founded by local civic leaders in collaboration with 5 surrounding school district boards and superintendents. They actually invested in that museum as a way to create a science laboratory and classroom beyond the school walls to help them bring world-class education to rural kids that otherwise wouldn't have been available. So at both the zoo and then at that museum, I've seen what cultural institutions working together with school systems can do. I believe in the power of that, and I'm so delighted now to bring the garden into that realm too, and to partner with you to leverage the strength that each of us has to create a better community, a healthier community, and for everyone to benefit from that partnership. So thank you for the time to speak to you tonight, and again, it's a pleasure to be your partner in this venture.
Thank you, Mr.
And it's my job.
Outcome of my work, without a doubt. Yeah, but we get down, so you most definitely are going to see sweat. I got some beautiful folks. Tiffany's one of the soul gardeners over there. Young Javion is gardening. These are actually on the borders of their home. Mr. Derek Rogers is gardening right on the border of his home. So that's some beautiful stuff. The majority of these people, you were talking about Marcelino leaving an imprint. The majority of these people who are coming in here are from all around metropolitan Phoenix. So you have people from around the community and people already coming in every second Saturday of the month from outside of the community. Okay? Hard work pays off. Fantastic crew. Once again, I really enjoy the multi-ethnicity of the youth coming in from the Concho School, from the Lassen, John R. Davis. I believe the other school is the Irene Lopez on the border there. We also have some of the different men and women of the community, and also some of the seniors who are coming in. So it's fabulously intergenerational as well. Community Food Hub, got some guys doing some great work. You guys already talked about Mr. Nick De La Fuente, and also Mr. Schultz and Suzanne, who've just been very supportive. But it's a community food hub from the standpoint, like Nick says, of staying very firmly rooted in the community. So whether it's for affordable, accessible, nutritious food, or whether it's to gauge the impact of the individuals who are working in this space, we want to make sure that it does have rigor, that it ties into the education, and that it also ties into the evaluation of the individual, and then aside from the individual, the community itself. We have a community garden work day that's already started. Our next work day will be a whole 3 days from now or so, right? October 10th. Guys have been doing an excellent job with that. Tommy, what are our average numbers? Are like right in the
150.
About 150 in those in that area. Just for that second. I mean, yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean,
That's wonderful.
isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's some fabulous things going on, and like I said, true testament to the work of young Javion over here, who did a fabulous job leading us in the pledge of allegiance. Man, I wish I could do that at 10 years old. That was just incredible. You know? Starbucks Global Day of Service. So if you actually did an average of the people who are already coming out there to spaces, we had, Richard, what, about 700 on that?
Over 700, yes.
Over 700 people just cleaning. So Nick said that first picture is going to be iconic because it was an old chair and weeds. And as you see, the space now is just filled with people, filled with opportunity, and like we're a whole 4 or 5 months in. Man, that's doing it. He's talking about a 10-year plan. We're talking about let's get it done in 7 months. You know what I mean?
And we got some legendary people on that picture itself. So you talk about, you know.
You guys see the middle picture there, man? I mean, you know, those 2 guys on the side, they're all right. But you got Ms. Munoz in the middle there, right? Supporting, thank you, like I said, as usual, because you got to get started in this, and people never know what you can do until you get that opportunity. So the Spaces collaboration is also with Good Things Grow. We feel fabulous about some of the alliance. Mary Mitchell was here, I believe, from the Girl Scouts. I'm not sure if Mary is still here. You know, obviously we talked about the Desert Botanical Gardens, our good friend at Orchard Community Learning Center. And the list just goes on and on. Desert Botanical Gardens has jumped into this conversation. Starbucks, the City of Phoenix, Maricopa County Public Health, Arizona Department of Health Services. We'll be meeting with our good friend from Cardinal, Mr. Dave Laney. Is that tomorrow? Oh my goodness. All right, tomorrow. Yeah, this thing never stops. We started probably at about 4:30 this morning, and from meetings to working at a farmer's market, which the kids work at, we've been going. It's been moving, right? So yeah, so here we are, and we're loving it. If this is a job, what a great job. And I say if this is a job, I'm not so sure sometimes. I mean, I have the best deal in the world going on for me. I think before I introduce Dr. Moya Salas, should I introduce the kids first? Yeah? Okay, so I'd first like to introduce Mr. Javion Gladney. Javion, you want to step up for a quick second, kind of give them a quick idea of maybe some of who you are and what you're doing over there, or why you like what you're doing?
What I like about what I'm doing is...
Who are you? What school do you go to?
I go to John R. Davis. And what I like doing over there is I like taking out the weeds so I could provide the plants and they could grow.
And you know, you were telling me something about what you want to do as your job when you grow up. He might have just been telling me that, man. These guys get a financial incentive, so I almost wanted to tell him the check is in the mail. But give him a little piece about what you've been on that.
So I said to Mr. Derry, I'm gonna provide with homeless people with free stuff, and people who just come over, they could pay, but I want to provide the homeless people because they really don't got food or anything, and I want to help them out.
That's
This is not even a Miss World pageant. World peace, baby. World peace. Also, I'd like to thank and introduce Mr. Daniel Adsity. He's going to be replacing Luis this evening. Give him a little bit about who you are and why you do what you do.
I'm Daniel Adsity, and what I do at the garden is I usually do farmer's market or even gardening on Mondays, sometimes even Thursdays. And what I like doing at the garden is working with these guys like every day. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool experience.
Also, I'd like to introduce the veteran of the group. Anthony, how old are you now? Are you
17.
Oh, excuse me, I was going to say 16. He's 17 now, and he's been doing a great job as one of our youth leaders. Anthony, give him a little idea of who you are and what you do.
My name is Anthony Steele. I'm 17. I go to South Mountain High School right down the street here. I've been participating with the garden since I was 12 years old, so now 5 years. Yes, and I just love seeing seeds of change, you know, in our community and seeing it get better, progressive over the years. I'm really proud of being a part of an awesome project and with these awesome people who can influence me, myself, and other kids to do positive change.
Thank you.
Final comment on myself and Anthony are former students over at Sierra Vista. Anthony over at MLK currently is attending South Mountain High School. So we're making an incredible impact in the Roosevelt School District, and we feel really great about that. So thank you for the opportunity. I'd like to introduce to you guys a really fantastic friend of this whole alliance, my good friend and great collaborator in this project, Dr. Moya Salas.
Great, I have to follow that. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, Darren and guys, for providing a little bit of a glimpse of what's already happening at the Spaces of Opportunity site. I want to build on that, and I want to step back a little bit. Thank you. by talking a little bit about CUSP. And you've heard about Cultivate South Phoenix many times, so I thought I want to keep this brief. But when I was thinking about Cultivate South Phoenix, this is the image that I thought of. And some of you may recognize it. Do you know which children's book this comes from? I heard someone in the audience, one of the kids back here, maybe. It's Swimmy, Leo Leone. And I remember that I used to read this book to my children a lot when they were younger, and I loved this book. And the way the story goes is that there was a school of little red fish that would swim in the ocean. And they were happy and they would swim and they were free, but there were some big fish in the ocean that were strong and they were hungry. And so they would go to eat the little red fish. And so the little red fish were having a really hard time living a life of wellness. And in many ways, the organizations that have been working for many, many years in South Phoenix were a lot like those fish. We were each swimming, trying to be successful, trying to help the other fish to grow strong. But we were dealing with these big fish in South Phoenix, which represent to me the social conditions that our children have to deal with, that interfere sometimes with some of the surveys, and these were the recommendations of the committee, is actually having school gardening projects, increasing the amount of that happens on campuses. They talked about having farmers markets and pop-up stands as a way of promoting the health of the community. They talked about using space, whether it's the Spaces site and the school district sites, to create structured activities for parents and children to engage in activities together. And they felt that this would increase family bonding, but also promote community cohesion. The other thing that they talked about is that many people were proud of the parks that we have here in South Phoenix, but they talked about using the bigger parks and the need for actually having more localized space where people who don't have transportation could actually get to. And they also talked about safety and not feeling safe in using some of the smaller parks. So you can see that the data that we've collected and the data that was collected through the HIA really is consistent. And this is what the community is telling us that they actually want. And I love this quote that also came out of the HIA, but schools are at the heart of the community. Shared use will reinforce a sense of belonging and create community attachment. That was one of the mapping sessions that were facilitated at Brooks. The other thing, and I spoke briefly about evaluation, but we are looking at constantly, how much are we doing? How many people are showing up at the community gardening sites? How many health education workshops are being provided? How many parents come? How much produce are we going to produce? How much revenue are we going to get from that? These are the questions that we're looking to monitor the impacts that we're having. And we're always looking at how well did we do? Was it meaningful for the community? Was there culture honor? Did we achieve the goals and the objectives that we wanted to achieve? And most importantly, is anyone better off because of it? Did we change the population? And are the people who live in South Phoenix better off because of what we're doing? And this is how we're evaluating our program or our interventions, if it's not just a program. And just as Darren shared a little bit about the community gardening, I want to talk a little bit about the education that will happen at the Spaces site. Well, research actually shows that community gardens can be very, very effective, but they're most effective when they go hand in hand with education. And they're most effective when they go hand in hand with physical activities. And so we're drawing on what we know works. And we're drawing on the resources that we already have. So you'll see on there many of our community partners who have committed their resources to provide educational activities on the Spaces site or in the surrounding schools there. So we have the Girl Scouts, we have Valley Permaculture, Unlimited Potential, and Desert Botanical Garden that have committed to providing educational opportunities on the Spaces site. And I know I'm taking a lot of time, so I'll go quickly. But we have the Girl Scouts who has a healthy living program that they are willing and committed to providing to girls after school. And the curriculum touches on STEM, financial literacy, healthy living, global citizenship, and environmental stewardship. And they've been partners with the Roosevelt School District for many, many years. Valley Permaculture also has committed to providing a STEM-based, kind of permacultural-based activities for people in K through 8th grade, after-school programming that can be provided on-site or in the surrounding schools. They've committed to weekend field trips and edible desserts. I have to find out what that is. But, and then we have unlimited potential. And unlimited potential, what we're doing is really, it's with the whole family and with the parents. And we call it Healthy Roots because we have promotoras who are engaging with other parents. And they're sharing the wisdom of their grandmothers, really. And the intention is to grow nopales and hierbabuena and moringa and incorporate all of these into healthy ways of eating. And so they're doing cooking classes, which they've already started doing. And they're also raising people's consciousness about what are the factors that prevent people from being healthy. So it's really about increasing their awareness of the social determinants of health. It's not just individual interventions, but how do we need to be involved as parents in the community to create a healthier community so that our children have the opportunity to be well. So that's what Unlimited Potential is doing. And then we have the Desert Botanical Garden has also committed and invested in providing $10,000, on the right slide, yeah, to make field trips available for the children who attend Roosevelt School District so that they can go to the Desert Botanical Garden and engage in a hands-on science STEAM curriculum. So these are some of the resources that have already been invested in the project. Okay. And I just want to mention too is that we're continuing, Nick mentioned that where we see this as a long-term investment. And we are continuing to apply for funding so that we can expand the educational services and opportunities that we're providing. I guess that's it. Any questions or comments from any of the presenters?
Wow. I have to say wow again. I'm all wowed out today. I am so impressed with all that CUSP has been doing, and Nick, Lorraine, Darren, thank you. Mr. Ken, thank you so much. I am so anxious to see that spot of land over there that's not too far from my house, to be able to pass by and see it be put to use in a beautiful way, to have trees, to have plants, maybe walkthroughs. I was looking at some of the drawings that you have here. But I love the botanical garden, and I love to go during Christmas time to the Illuminatias, and I'd love to see that here, and all sponsored and backed up by Roosevelt School District. It's very, very, makes me proud, and I thank you all for all you're doing. I'm anxious to see you get it really going, and glad that we approved your 5-year contract, so that we know the value, we value your work, we love gardening, we love teaching our children the basic things of life, and we want to make Roosevelt special. I've already had board members call me from other districts that want to come and visit our community school and learn what we're doing here because they want to do the same thing. We are getting out there because of you, because of your help. So thank you again. We're really, really happy to see you guys do this, and I know you will. Board members, Mr. Quinones?
Nick and Darren, all joking aside, in all seriousness, I am so proud of you guys. Thank you, because I remember last year there was 2 or 3 meetings where we went back and forth on really what this was going to look like. And I think you showed all of us, and especially the young people, what happens when you determine, when you persevere. And to hear these 3 young gentlemen talk about the work that they're doing and what they're getting out of it, I mean, that's why we do this, right? That's why we have a school district. We do it so that young children can get better opportunities, and they have activities after school, and they have a sense of community. And so I'm just incredibly proud of all the work that you're doing. I also want to recognize Mr. Nickerson, even though he's not here. but Mr. Nickerson has often backed you all up and has often asked us to continue supporting these initiatives. But I'm incredibly proud because for me, this is what Roosevelt is. It's a place that transforms a community. It's a place that takes an old garden that doesn't have a lot of opportunity or fruit or vegetables. But when people come together, and just like that young gentleman said, seeds of change happen. And now you've got a whole room full of people that individually are seeds. And that's wonderful. And so continue that. Ms. Lorraine, thank you. I love the work. I can't wait to see you in November when you do your luncheon. So I love that. And then also, thank you to the Desert Botanical Garden, Mr. Schultz, and also Ms. Feister from the St. Luke's Health Initiative. I think anytime you get folks like yourselves to come out onto Roosevelt, you're going to raise some eyebrows. It's the truth, right? And it's good. So thank you for helping us raise eyebrows, and we're not done yet. There's still some more pictures to take. But we've got enough seeds to make sure that they grow. So thank you so much, and wonderful work.
Yes. Mr. Delgado?
I just want to tell you guys thank you. It's very, very inspiring to see these three young men here take a initiative on their part and really enjoy something that's very, very great. It's going to show, it's going to be a very, very bright spot in that community. It's great to see the plants. I was going through that too, and I can't wait to go out there and look at it too. Be part of it. Thank you guys.
Yes, and I just wanted to thank J. Dean again. Did I say that right? No. J. Dion, and the two Anthony's. What is, oh, just J? That's a good idea. I'll never get that wrong. Thank you so much. And one thing we didn't mention here that the seeds of change, the transformation, character building. We have 3 young men here who have showed exceptionalism of what you are going to be when you grow up. So thank you again. We are delighted. We're very proud to be your partner, and we want to see what you're doing. Please invite us over and keep us updated, please. Come back in 3, 4, 5, 6 months and let us know how things are going. Please. Thank you so much again.